Welcome to Our Girl Relationships. We talk about the problems people face in their day to day lives. Let's start with the video.
I, 28 female, met my husband, 31, Jaden, through my brother, Alex, 31. They were in the same grade and in the same friend group all throughout high school, but never too close. Just friends with a lot of mutuals. However, their friendship really bloomed the moment they left for college and found out that the two had gotten in the same one. So they both began helping each other to navigate through the new city, and as it turns out, the two had a lot in common between them, and as a result, started sharing an apartment together. This sharing of one apartment next went to sharing the same classes and eventually same group of friends, until eventually, through certain situations, their bonds got so strong that the two would often visit each other's families over Christmas. That is when I first met Jaden at one of our family Christmas parties. Now, I hadn't fallen for him the moment I had seen him. I was still in senior year of high school while he was in his second year of college, but we did get along pretty damn well. So much so that whenever Alex and Jaden would come over during breaks, it would be just the three of us hanging out together all summer. All of this just to show you all how close we actually were. It was like we had become inseparable, and honestly, I couldn't have myself to wait any longer to spend more time with the two, and soon enough my wish was granted when college rolled around and I was able to get into a college close by and in the same city as both Alex and Jaden. Things were just blissful from there on because we started hanging out more than ever from there on. Their friends met mine and mine met them. It was like we had created a huge circle of friends, and one of them among us was Lenita. Being in the same course, much like Alex and Jaden, Lenita and I became friends hard and fast. Eventually, Jaden came out to confess his feelings for me. I wasn't surprised. He had been dropping hints, and I'd be lying if I said I wasn't either. I was very happy, and so were my family back home, and Alex was on top of the moon to find this news out. I still remember the way he said that he was happy that it was Jaden who I was dating because he wouldn't have to worry about a thing in the world since I'm in safe hands, and honestly, I agree so much with it because ever since the moment he asked me out, there wasn't a day I wasn't happy or protected. So we embarked on our happy relationship, and eventually, so did Alex and Lenita. Now, this one was a complete shocker because Lenita and Alex both admittedly are very different people. From their thinking styles to personality, the two were truly a couple no one would imagine, but after all, it is said opposites attract. So there were these changes into our small friend group, and honestly, even then, never did we have any sort of misunderstandings and conflicts. There was very obvious changes in the dynamics of the friendships, and we all were very obvious to the fact that we wouldn't be able to spend as much time as we used to before, but we all were happy and understanding of each other, and that is how things were between the four of us. Not just until college, but even after that. The four of us just kept getting closer to each other, helping each other during the times of our needs and just trying to uplift each other. Hell, my brother and Lenita both acted as best man and maid of honor at our wedding, and so did we at their wedding. I still can vividly remember the day Lenita gave birth to her daughter. She informed us that she had chosen Jaden and I as the godparents, and man, I had really teared up that day thinking about how far my brother and Lenita had come and how far we as a small family had come. I really thought it was forever thing, and I was glad that I was surrounded with such kind, loving, loyal people who were nothing but inspiring to me and possibly my future children. But of course, that was far from the case. I mean, why would I be here if it was true and everything was bright and glittery? It all started about 8 months ago. It was around Christmas. We all have this tradition that we alternatively celebrate Christmas at each other's place. So last year's Christmas was held at my brother's and Lenita's place, and as a ritual, we went there a couple of days before to be able to help them to organize for the entire event. So we help around and Christmas comes. Everything's amazing and nothing can go wrong when you have family around, and also when your best friend of 13 years announces that she's pregnant once again, right? Wrong. It wasn't soon after the Christmas dinner that we all were just lazing around while Jaden and Alex went upstairs to play. That is when it all started. The pleasant quietness was interrupted by screaming, and although neither Lenita nor I heard most of the argument, we could just tell something very wrong had happened. Because the moment we got there, my husband immediately told me that we needed to pack up and leave because he couldn't live in this house a moment longer. This was very unlike Jaden, and so I immediately packed up my things and we left, hoping that things would cool off on their own and what happened could come out on its own. Well, things did cool down between them. All my husband said was he needed space from Alex and was hoping that I would maintain mine too. He also said that he didn't want him over at our place unless he's around. Now, it raised a lot of red flags for me because what the hell would that mean? So I tried asking him that multiple times, but after receiving no response and causing multiple arguments, I gave up. That is how we had been going all these months until the day before when my brother called me up to tell me he was around the neighborhood and was wondering if he could come over for lunch. Now, my brother really enjoys my cooking, and so my little sister instincts immediately said yes, because I thought it wouldn't be a huge deal since my husband wouldn't be home until later in the evening anyways. So I tell him yes, and he comes over. We have a nice meal together, and after that, just sit down to talk. It's all about random things until the topic of Jaden comes up, and my brother kind of becomes awkward and hesitant and tells me he wants to talk to me about something. And right at that moment, the doorbell starts to ring, and I immediately know it's Jaden. But I calm myself down and open the door because what is the worst that could happen? Wrong. My husband blows up at me the moment he sees Alex and throws him out of the house. I too start to argue with him, but once again, this one too doesn't go anywhere. I knew something was very wrong between the two of them right then and there, and so I decided to snoop through my husband's phone, thinking he was the one who did something wrong, but boy, was I so wrong. I start off by checking his messages between his colleagues and his friends and find nothing. Right when I was on the verge of giving up, I decided to check out his message thread between my brother and him, and man, it was full of my brother swearing up and down, apologizing to my husband, telling him that he regrets having an affair with this girl he met online so desperately. My husband's replies are full of him showing disappointment and annoyance. What shocked me the most is the sheer audacity my brother has that he gaslit my husband into staying quiet by holding Lenita's pregnancy over his head. Right from that moment I read the messages, I was shocked, disappointed, and horrified. What should I do here? AITA? Help! Hi, everyone. I needed to first sit down with Jaden and talk to him about everything. I started off by apologizing to him profusely over everything that happened between us and for snooping through his phone. He immediately broke down into my arms and began explaining to me how it was the day that he had argued with him on Christmas was when he found out about his affair, but he knew that he couldn't watch Lenita going through such a heartbreak during such a sensitive point of her life. Like many of you all commented, I told him that we would have to let her know at one point or the other, and it would be better if we told her instead of her finding out later down the line, especially towards the sensitive points of her pregnancy. It took him a while, but he agreed, and we have invited Lenita tomorrow for tea because that's when Alex isn't home. We'll update you all next. We sat Lenita down and spoke to her today. It wasn't a sweet conversation. She almost tried to shift blame on me and Jaden, but I made sure to not let her cross that boundary. And I guess she herself, too, was able to get to a level where she knew she couldn't do that. We comforted her to the best of our abilities, and she told us that although she had her doubts, she wasn't ever too sure. Alex hadn't been the nicest to her recently, especially ever since she gave birth to their first daughter. He had been making comments about her body, which had been weighing her down. So she just chalked up her observations to her being insecure and suspicious. It broke my heart hearing all of this because what happened to the brother I once knew? Not just that, my heart went out to Lenita as well, who clearly tried her hardest. Currently, we have dropped off Lenita at her place to get their things packed and confront Alex. We have also made sure to let her know that she is free to be able to live with us if she wants to. She thanked us for all of this before leaving. Now, I'm just hoping for the best. Update 3. It's been a couple of months since I last updated, and a lot has happened ever since. Lenita confronted Alex the very same day as she spoke to us and has left the house along with her daughter, alternating to live with us and her family. Good thing about this was that she only had to do the moving out for a short while until Alex got his shit together and moved out of the house, which was under Lenita's name, and would continue to be so as they had signed a prenuptial agreement. Alex pretty much immediately got shunned by the family because he had not only been having this affair, but had also been lying about having a job, which lost right before Christmas. So currently, as he's under the process of divorce, he's scrambling to get his life together while living in a rundown apartment because apparently he suddenly wants the custody of his children, who he previously never bothered to look after. This change in my brother was a roller coaster. The person who I once thought was someone I could look up to turned out to be someone I wouldn't even make eye contact with. But I guess that's just life. Lastly, though, I want to thank you all for your amazing advice because without it, Jaden and I both might have likely dragged our own marriage into this as well. NTA, tell Anita everything because if she knew you guys knew, she'd be heartbroken. She deserves to know before she has another child with this monster. NTA, Alex is horrible and would have most likely set your marriage ablaze to keep his warm while tormenting Lenita. Good on you and Jaden for being there for Lenita. I'm a 45-year-old male, and my sister, 38, has had to go away for a bit over some tax issues. As a result, my other siblings and I have taken in the nibblings and we'll be caring for them until she gets back to the free world. I have happily accepted the burden of caring for my niece. We'll call her Shelley, 15. Shelley is a big girl. She's 5'4", and she weighs 320 pounds. This is the condition she came to me in. I did not raise her. The way we do meals in my family, I make breakfast and lunch fresh from scratch every day. Breakfast and lunch are always 600 to 800 calories per plate. I cook for all 9 for now, members of the household. But dinners, I don't do fresh every night. I make enough to last 3 days, so I cook and portion out 27 individual 800-calorie servings of dinner every third day. Every person in my house has 2,000 to 2,400 calories of home-cooked food available to them every day. We also have things that anyone is free to make for themselves. Want some ramen? Go for it. PB&J? Go for it. Want a frozen pizza? There are like 60 of them in the basement freezer. Any flavor you want. Want a burger? I have 72 frozen burger patties. Go ahead and make one. I say all this to say that I am not denying this kid food. This morning, as I was doing my meal prep for the next 3 days, Shelley came into the kitchen and asked me if I can start making enough so that she can have 2 plates of dinner every night. I refused and explained that 3,000 calories a day is simply too much food, and I will not contribute to her eating herself into an early grave. I also told her that she is free to prepare something for herself if she is hungry, and she's already eaten her dinner. She's bashing me all over her social media and telling people that I'm starving her and forcing her to lose weight. On one hand, I feel like I'm doing the right thing. I'm feeding her, and there is more food available for her if she feels that she hasn't been fed enough. A 15-year-old can make some ramen. I know that for a fact, and I really don't want to send her back to her mom weighing 400 pounds. But on the other hand, she is going through a rough time being away from her mom. If she's using food to cope with that, maybe I should just cave and make her some extra food. So I kind of feel like an AH for drawing this line in the sand. It's not like making 3 extra plates of food each time would break my bank. So, Reddit, it's up to you. Am I the a-hole? NTA, you're providing her with all the food she needs. Stay strong. Don't let her bully you. In fact, her posting on social media and being so toxic right after she just got there might be a reason to send her away to another family member. This isn't going to be good for your own children. NTA, I think you do enough cooking already. Not many people could cope with making that amount. I know I couldn't. She gets 3 meals a day, which is standard. She's old enough to make her own food and understand how to eat healthily. Whether she does or not is her choice. But she does not need you to make her a second dinner. That is being greedy. She's also old enough to stop acting out and lying about her circumstances online. This will sound harsh, but I personally think she needs to grow up. You do not bash who are helping you. I am 38, female, and have a daughter, V, 13. I have a close friend, Charlie, who has a daughter, Amanda, also 13, with his wife, Olivia. I've known Charlie for nearly 20 years, since before he was with Olivia, and while she and I have never been close, I thought we had a deep, abiding respect and warmth for one another. Our kids are very close. And Charlie and his family often visit us at our homes, and when we're near where they live, we see them. At the beginning of the summer, Charlie, Olivia, and Amanda, along with their other 2 sons, came to stay with my family. They were there for 2 weeks, but when it was time to go, both V and Amanda pleaded for Amanda to be allowed to extend her stay. My husband and I were fine with this, as was Charlie, but Olivia wasn't keen. Eventually, she was convinced by Charlie, and Amanda stayed with us until about 3 weeks before school started again. Since then, Charlie has mentioned a couple of times that Amanda has asked for different kinds of food that she tried while with us, and that she's asked for a couple of expensive items. She even asked if she could try horse riding, and Charlie has joked several times about me corrupting her, but it was definitely a joke. 2 days ago, I received several walls of text from Olivia. She said that since staying with us, Amanda has become divorced from reality. Olivia says Amanda now wants things they can't afford, will not help around the house, and complains about everything from their cars to their clothes. She said that I must have spoiled Amanda by giving her expensive gifts. I bought her one designer item as a souvenir on the day trip we took, as I was getting one for V, and it seemed unfair for Amanda to get nothing, and encouraged a superficial lifestyle. She also said Amanda has asked to join a gym and be taken to a dermatologist, and accused me of making Amanda insecure, which I absolutely did not. V has seen a dermatologist and probably mentioned it to Amanda, but I doubt it was in a nasty way. Finally, she said that I had completely alienated Amanda from their family, as nothing they do seems to be good enough now, and she keeps saying that she misses being with our family and wishes she'd been born V's sister. Apparently, Amanda said she wants to come back to ours for her school's half-term break, and that I invited her, which I did in passing, if it was okay with her parents. Olivia said, as a mother, I should have known better than to spoil a child that's not mine, and that it must have been my intention to turn her against us. I was hurt by what she said and told Charlie. He says she's overreacting because most of what Amanda has been saying has been directed at her mother, and Olivia is just at her wit's end. He said he'll talk to her and that I shouldn't worry, but I'm beginning to wonder if I've done something wrong. A friend of mine said she understands why Olivia would feel slighted, even if she overreacted. AITA? All of Amanda's new behaviors honestly sound like her just being a teenager. More than likely has nothing to do with her extended stay with your family. It sounds to me like Olivia is frustrated and needs someone to blame. NTA. NTA, you live the way you usually do. Her parents did not tell you not to do anything when they left her there. And they probably saw the way you lived. Maybe you shouldn't have bought her the designer item, but that is water under the bridge. The girl is a teenager. She will have to learn that there are people that have other lifestyles and that you either have it or not. But I would suggest that your daughter go and visit them in future.